Hey everybody, my name is Ron Cecil. I am coming to you from the rainy and most beautiful forest park in Portland, Oregon. I'm talking and walking through the rain because I wanted to talk to you about depression. I was diagnosed with depression in my late 30s, and when the doctor was asking me about my experience with depression, I thought about it for a long time, and I said, I don't think there's ever been a time in my life that I haven't experienced this feeling. And what do I mean by depression? I'll just use my words. This is not a diagnostic tool. This is not me trying to project depression onto anybody else. This is just my experience. Two things come to my mind. Number one, sense of impending doom, right? That is, something good will eventually fail. Nothing good will ever work out. And at any moment, the sense that a failure or catastrophe is going to happen will happen. The second feeling that I carried around in that form of depression is this idea that just can't be happy, right? Like no matter what happens, no matter how good things are in my life, I can't trust it. And therefore there's this little governor of happiness. There's this kind of set limit of how happy I can be. Now, if you've heard my podcast or seen me in my social media, you've heard me laugh and cut it up and all those things. I enjoy having a good time. I've got a great family life. I've got good friends, but that feeling is never that far away. I would say 5 years ago, I got to a point where I really needed to deal with it. I really needed to address it in a way that I never had. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that experience, and if you're dealing with it, the tools that I've used that might work for you. And a little disclaimer, if you're a fan of Batman, you'll know that at some point in his adventures, he's gonna use every tool on his Batman toolbox or his tool belt to save the day. And I wanna say that there's not, in my experience, not a magic bullet. There's not one thing that works over everything else. It for me has been a conjunction of all the tools together. So if you have been struggling with something that you might label as depression, or this sense of impending doom, or an inability to enjoy life no matter how good things are, maybe this combination of things might help you too. This is not an exhaustive list. This is I use together on a daily basis, and that have over time have helped me tremendously experience more joy, more happiness, less guilt, less fear, less shame, and just more what I might call exuberance of life. And also has it helped me achieve some pretty large goals in my life, both in my work and personally, and in my family and my relationships. So number one, I got really serious about my diet and my food and the food that I put in my body. Does that mean that I don't eat sugar? No, it doesn't. I love sugar. I had some ice cream last night. Does that mean that I went vegan or any of those kinds of crazy things? No, it doesn't. It means that I noticed and began to take stock of how much food I ate. And I got really rational and realistic about the amount I was putting in my body and the kinds of food I was putting in my body. I did start putting higher quality foods. I started eating less sugar. I started to get very moderated around those things. Number two is I got serious about the amount of exercise I was doing. Now, I think one of the traps with exercise is that we think that if we're gonna get into exercise, it needs to be this kind of all or nothing idea, right? I'm gonna work out 5 days a week or 6 days a week, and I'm gonna work out an hour at a time. That might work for you, and it might work for you for a little while. For lots of folks, it has worked. For me, and I've been through intense periods of training. That's what I would call training mode. In other words, I'm getting ready for something like a marathon or a big climb or something like that. But generally speaking, right now in my life, consistently, I'm working out 4 to 5 days a week, and I'm doing it a minimum of 20 minutes a day, sometimes up to an hour, and maybe only an hour twice a week. So that's not all that much, right? My baseline is 4 times a week, 20 minutes at a time. And I have found that to be extremely effective in combination. Nutrition and exercise are my baselines. The third thing that I got really serious about is allowing myself to get to sleep. Now you're probably thinking, what do you mean? If you've ever struggled with anxiety or depression or any of those heavy feelings, this feeling of this like emptiness inside you that you're just looking for something to bring you up, to lift you up, to make you feel better. And so for me, for a long time, that would look like staying up late and watching a Netflix or Amazon or YouTube and just trying to find something that I thought would be the next tool or make me laugh or make me excited or find some form of adventure. And I lost a lot of sleep over that. And then I would wake up the next day, and the way to get myself going was to drink a bunch of coffee and to stimulate myself through the first part of the day. And it just would always lead to crashes and going up high and then falling down again. So number 3, I got serious about my sleep. I've done another video on the 4th tool, which is I quit drinking. Alcohol, as it turns out, is a depressant, a major depressant. It is rough on your system. And you're maybe sitting there thinking, I don't know if I could do that. I couldn't for a long time. It was very difficult for me. And you can go listen to the other video on this, but long story short, I got help in a 12-step program. And in that 12-step program, I found a tremendous amount of very intelligent, high-functioning, wonderful human beings, men and women, old and young, who shared with me their experience, strength, and hope on how they got sober. And the cool thing is it's not just about alcohol. There are 12-step programs for all kinds of other things. And if you really get in there and start to do the mental work, the emotional work that comes along with sobriety, every area of your life is going to change. Your relationships are going to get better. Your job is going to get better. Your relationship with yourself, more importantly, is going to get better. So number 4, I stopped drinking and I've been sober for almost 9 years. The time of this recording. The 5th thing I did is I drank a lot of water. I try to drink a minimum of 8 glasses a day, just whatever the doctor says to do. If you're in training mode, it might be a lot more, it might be a gallon a day. Whatever it is, get into the habit of drinking a lot of water. Another thing I've done, 6th thing I've done, is I meditate. So when I tell people about meditation, oftentimes they roll their eyes, or the first thing that they might say is, that doesn't work for me. I laugh because I don't know if people know what meditation really even is supposed to feel like. And I think it's this idea that you completely empty your mind of all thoughts, all images, all ideas. And good luck doing that. It's fun, it's aspirational, but that's not at all what I mean when I meditation. For me, I make it easy on myself. I don't sit down, I don't sit in a chair. I lay down flat on the ground because it's the way that I can allow my body to not have any other kind of stimulants against me that are distracting. It's the way I get rid of the distractions as I'm trying to meditate. And then I put in some headphones and I listen to what they call binaural beats or bilateral beats. If you Google that, in fact, I'll leave some links in the bottom of here. And I set a timer for 15 minutes and I lay flat. I do not go to sleep. I might go through a mantra. That mantra might be, I'm proud of you, Ronald, for name 7 things. Or it might be, I'm here to be of service, the highest service to humanity and mankind. You can come up with any one you want. I'm here to serve my family. I'm here to love myself. I'm here to do what my parents couldn't do. I'm here to love myself or reparent myself in a way that my parents couldn't parent me in the past. There's tons of ways to do that. I think I'm a number 7. So number 8 is I got in community. Community for me looks like being in a regular connection with my friends. I do that. I've got a couple calls a week with guys that we're working on some stuff together not at work, not like an actual for a job situation, but things that are hobbies and things that are good for my soul. And speaking of good for my soul, is I do something good for my soul. In fact, I have found that if I am working on something or putting my effort into something that just lights me up, that's what I'd say number 9, is my body, like the rest of the day feels like a win. And for me, that's writing. So if I can write 15, 20, 25 minutes a day, I feel good about my writing, or I feel good about me, and the rest of the day feels good. So find yourself something that really you're excited about, whether it's mountain biking or some kind of physical hobby like that, or if you've been putting off that book or putting off writing poetry or putting off painting or dancing or whatever it might be, give yourself some time to fit that in and allow it to be there. Now you might be thinking, what about drugs? And I thought about that for a long time. In fact, I was really hoping I would find a drug that would be the kind of panacea, as you have heard Tim Ferriss say. And in some ways I did, in some ways I didn't. So I'll finish on this. I take a lot of supplements, based on my doctor's recommendation. Those might include vitamin D, omega-3s. If you've ever Googled like mental health and supplements, like I take those things for sure every single day. And I also take a low dose of an antidepressant. And in combination, all those things together help me feel like I can handle my day, that I've got more joy. It doesn't squish my other emotions. It doesn't make me have darker thoughts. It doesn't, any of those other kind of worrisome side effects that you might have heard about, but those don't affect me. I don't have any experience with those. So I hope that this is helpful to you. And if you've been experiencing, especially if you're in your late 30s or early 40s and you're like, man, this has been around a long time and no circumstance changes it. That was one thing that I really noticed is like, no amount of money changed it. No amount of travel changed it. No amount of good times with my wife or my friends or anything like that changed it. Like I would have moments, but my overall day-to-day experience of well-being didn't change. Now that I've got these 10 or 11 things in place, that experience is like over time slowly brought up my set rate of what is enjoyable and wholesome and feeling and good feeling in my life. So there's lots more tools I use, but I just wanted to give you 10 or so to help you on your path. If you've never started, just start putting those in together. If you need help, go get help. Go get help right away. Don't hesitate. Reach out to a friend, talk to somebody about it. I've done that. I've been doing that from the beginning. And over time, somehow it's going to start getting put together. All right, everybody, take care.